So I wasn't live yesterday, which is very rare for me. I'm usually very on time, very on schedule, but my computer was driving me absolutely crazy. Everything was crashing. Discord was crashing. Chrome was crashing. I was just trying to change my calendar. Put a little calendar note on for an hour. Crash. All my programs are crashing that I play games. The game's crashing. Gray zone's crashing. Everything's crashing. And my computer isn't even blue screening, which would typically be more of a RAM issue. My whole computer just turned off and turned back on. And so it got to a point where it was just unbearable. I couldn't get through games. I had to figure something out. Console guys, you're going to be extra happy about hearing this story because you're going to be like, thank goodness I just have a console and don't need to deal with all of this. It's very simple. It's very great. But it was also a very valuable learning experience for me. Back in the day, I built a whole bunch of my own computers. I knew more about what I was doing. The last few years, I've just been doing pre-built, so I think there's some valuable lessons in here, even if you've been a pre-builder yourself too, on all of this. To be short, to give you a big warning, I'm still doing a little more testing with the guy that was helping me, but don't use the BIOS setting of Intel's SVID failsafe for gaming in particular, okay? This is a setting in your BIOS, which is like the main settings for your computer before you log in and you're in Windows or Mac or whatever. And on my motherboard, I have a high-end one. Changing this setting, it basically cooked my computer up. And I'll go into the story of why I did that in a second, but it was for Gray Zone and what the devs had recommended me to do, unfortunately. But if you did change the setting, the SVID setting, because a couple of you guys were asking me how I did it, you were there on the stream when I did change it, check the voltage of what your CPU is running at. Turn that setting off if it is on, and you may need to now underclock your PC. It's basically like running your computer on steroids, with the known fact that you're going to die in 24 hours. So basically, it turns the voltage up super high to 1.6, which is like extreme from everybody who knows about computers that I've talked to. It's been like absolutely juicing the hell out of the computer so that it could run Gray Zone in the first place, I think is what was essentially what made it work and bypassed whatever was going on. But it fried it. It turned my CPU that was supposed to last for years into days. So how this essentially happened, I think it was a compounding issue as well. I had been having some PC issues that I believe was due to the thermal paste on my computer, which, side note, I posted that one, and everybody was telling me that it's not enough thermal paste. No wonder you're getting bad temperatures. It may not have even been the AIO in general, but I went through and replaced the whole AIO, which was a fucking nightmare, dude. It took me 5 hours to get all of this done because it's a snowball effect. This was a Zydax PC that I got, and I think it was just the thermal paste. They did a bad job of putting it on. I'm assuming that's what it was. That's what everybody's been messaging me about. Like I said, I haven't built a lot of computers in the last few years, so I don't know. But I put some good thermal paste on, and I spread that shit really good. And I was instantly going to 100 degrees Celsius when I started a benchmark. Instant 100 degrees Celsius off of this, which I think was part of the other thing too. So this has just been an absolute nightmare. I fixed that, but my CPU is now completely fried. So going back to how this actually happened, when Gray Zone first came out, it was in early access. I booted the game up on my live stream, and it was constantly crashing when I was going into the game. I think my game just crashed. The devs ended up calling me. I was literally on a Google Meet, whatever, with them. They walked me through going into the BIOS and turning the SVID setting on. I don't know anything. I assume they didn't know that this was the case too. I think this is more of an Intel problem, honestly, than it is anything else. And the guy that I was working with, F.P.S. Hub, huge shout out to these guys. They go through and help like optimize your PCs. And the guy over there, Merc, he literally stayed up and helped me reset and get everything fixed. This guy's the best. He actually knows what he's talking about and doing with computers, which is what I needed. He basically told me all of this and helped me get it all fixed and sorted, and now everything is running stable. So I lost all stability on my computer, though, changing this. Over the next 2 days, I was literally gaming on complete jacked up steroids and cooking my CPU for 2 days. That essentially brought its lifespan down. So then the solution was working with these guys, F.P.S Hub, going through, and I went into the BIOS. He told me to change a bunch of settings to cap all of like the electricity that I could send to it and the wattage and everything. And basically the base clock, he had me manually enter the base clock information for this processor, which, because I went to default BIOS, default basic BIOS, still crashing, still couldn't do anything. I did see Jay's 2 cents video talking a bit about going into the BIOS and even changing some of the other Intel things. I'm going to send him a message on this too, so maybe this can help somebody, because this was a different setting that I had changed that seemed to make it worse. Nonetheless, changing that setting to the actual like numbers still did not make my processor work. I had to then underclock to 5.4, still crashing because the base is 5.5. I went down to 5.2, so I'm underclocking my PC quite drastically, just to get it to work at baseline. I did then turn the XMP profile on, ran an OCC test to test the CPU, and everything basically is just like a stress test for the computer, and everything is now stable. I ran it for 25 minutes last night, underclocked on my CPU drastically, and it is working. So to now remedy and recover the situation, I have ordered a new CPU. I upgraded my CPU as well, so I had the 13900K. I went to the 14900K. I'm working with Merc again, and he's going to fully tweak and overclock my PC at something stable so that it will just last. I'm not overvolting it, because that was the core of the problem. It was just sending too much voltage to the thing, and I've just fried the thing. Tuning it day one, I am doing that from now on. I'm going to get all my stuff figured out. I'm going to know how it works. And if anything, the good news is, at least going through all my PC, I now know where all the wires are. I know where everything is. I did get to clean the whole thing out. It was quite dusty. I got to I replaced a couple of the fans, and I've got a fresh new AIO on it. So my hope is that this stream computer is going to be my main computer, or this main computer is going to be my stream computer into the future. It'll have the 4090 cards, which should let me do some crazy good quality streaming into the future too. Right now I have a 30-something in my current stream PC, which does all the things that I need it to right now. But the hope is to make it even better into the future. Exactly why I'm scared of building a PC. And this is the thing. If I didn't have the experience in the past of going through and building a PC in the first place, replacing the AIO would have been undoable. It was such a mess to even do that in the first place. I will be tweaking the GPU. I'm going to overclock the RAM. He does all of it. So I'm going to go through and overclock everything properly, which I've tried to do with like some of the automatic AI stuff in the past and had some problems with. And I just didn't know what I was doing in the first place. Now I have learned so much more. And this is what I used to do in the past. I used to actually figure all of this stuff out, and like I had this down way more. But as I've been doing it, more recently, I just buy all the pre-built stuff and I don't worry about anything. And I trusted the devs enough that I was talking to Grayzone, who told me to change this setting on the PC. And, I just didn't know what I was doing. And so, and then I didn't even know what to check, because what happened was, after gaming on that setting for 2 days, I went back and turned that setting off because the Grayzone early access was over. So then I went back to go play Warzone and whatever with that setting off. But now the computer is it's addicted to the high voltage. I couldn't play at all without having the high voltage on. So I had to turn that setting back on, and I didn't know what was going on. So then he went and he's like, holy shit, dude, you're running 1.6 volts in this thing. You are killing it. And you're running 100 degrees Celsius on your thing because of the previous issue with the temperatures. I just got absolutely dude. It's been bad. So anyways, it was a terrible day yesterday, but I figured a lot of stuff out. I learned a whole bunch of lessons. I even turned the XMP profile off over the last week because I just could not deal with it. So I've got a new CPU upstairs. I'm going to put it in my computer hopefully on Saturday. I think he's going to be able to help me overclock and figure that out. Unfortunately, Asus, the website that makes my motherboard, is it is down for whatever reason. I cannot get the BIOS files from it. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it from somebody else that he worked with in the past or something. I'm going to have to wait for Asus to update it. I'm pretty sure I cannot run this 14900K on my BIOS without it being updated. That's what PC Part Picker was telling me. So I might have to wait a couple more days to actually put this thing in. What I don't want to do is put it in and then I cannot run it and then I can't download the updated BIOS because Asus website is down. I've never seen this. If any of you guys know how to get the BIOS from the website, please let me know. But we got absolutely screwed, boys. We got absolutely screwed. And that's why there was no stream yesterday. I was, it is what it is, though. It is what it is. So I'm still, basically what Merc is going to do, the guy that was helping me, is he's got an extra 13900K. He's going to put it in the system. He's going to try the SVID setting and see if that same thing happens to him on his. Maybe it was more of a fluke just because my CPU problems, my thermal paste because of Zydax as well. But this is the thing. Like, if I just trust other people to do stuff, everything goes wrong, bro. We need super competent, good people to do stuff. So in the future, I'm probably just going to I'm going to find another pre-builder for whatever it is. I'm going to figure out, what's actually going on. I'm going to do thorough testing when I get it. I'm going to work with, these guys to actually optimize and tune everything. Shout out as well to Iceman Isaac, as well as Z-Laner. I hit them both up, and they both pointed me to the direction of these guys to actually, know what they're doing. And that was what I needed. But shout out to you guys as well, chat, because 90% of you guys were saying that this is a CPU problem. It's overheating. It's too hot. And, obviously we're just kind of limited reading chat. We figured it out though, dude. It's hard to know who you can trust in the computer space, because it's like, what am I gonna do? Go to Geek Squad or something? I don't know. I feel like I've never been helped out by that enough when I've tried it in the past. Right? Maybe it is good. Maybe it's just, but maybe it's inconsistent. Maybe you need the right people for it. How do I get help with this without just replacing the parts? Because the parts, we figured out the actual problem here. It was great and it was quick. So anyways, that's where we're at, boys. That's where we're at. Boom, baby. We're back. We're freaking back.